everyone, thank you so much for joining me in this video. Welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Quynh, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. So I have in front of me some freeze-dried food. These three I made and freeze-dried myself, and this one right here is a commercial brand that we actually bought after we went through the ice storm here in Texas and thought it would be nice to have some emergency food that we could store at room temperature. So it actually came in this huge bucket, and it's just one of the meals that was in here. So I wanted to do this quick taste test because we actually bought our own freeze dryer and I've been using it for about a month now, and I've actually had a really good time using it so far. However, I've actually never had freeze-dried food before, and I know that sounds really silly because I've invested a lot of money in this machine, but I just feel like it's nice to be able to preserve our leftovers and keep it at room temperature for years on end. So that was one of the reasons why I thought that this machine would be really good to have in our house. So far, we've actually been able to save a lot of money just being able to save our food that normally we would have had to toss out because we wouldn't have been able to keep it for that long. And I actually have a video of getting the machine and setting it up. If you guys are interested in watching that, be sure to check that out. I also promised you guys a video of why I bought a freeze dryer in the first place, because I feel like it's a very big investment. And for those who are interested in getting a freeze dryer, there's only one brand, and I feel like it's good to get other people's perceptions of why they bought this appliance. I don't want to cover it in this video because I feel like that's going to be really long, so that video will be coming up in the future. But in this video, I want to just do a taste test of some of the first items that we were able to freeze dry with our freeze dryer, and then compare it with our freeze-dried food that we've had in our kind of emergency prep supply. And since this has been in our emergency prep supply, we haven't really opened it. So this is kind of my first time just trying all of these freeze-dried meals. So I have a small portion of each of these meals in these bowls ready to be reconstituted. This right here is a zuppa toscana, and it's actually a Whole30 recipe, which is really nice because I love that I was able to make my own meal with whatever ingredients I wanted and control the quality of the ingredients in these meals. And then these two right here, I'm going to kind of just match them together because this is a brown rice and then this is a chicken tikka masala. Over here we have a ReadyWise meal, and this is their teriyaki rice. So with all of these meals, the nice thing is that all they need to be ready to eat is just to add hot water. That was one of the huge appeals with me, is because I like the idea of having almost kind of like an instant meal, and being freeze dried, they're able to maintain more of the nutrients versus any other type of preserved foods. So before I add water and reconstitute these, I want to just talk about their appearance and what they look like so far in the dry state. So the zuppa toscana, you can see these huge chunks of potato. You can see whole leaves of kale. And so everything in here, they're just like very chunky and how you would eat them like if you were to eat them fresh. And then with the chicken tikka masala, same thing. We have these huge pieces of chicken. There are some chunks of bell pepper, and then the sauce is in there as well. But I just love that it's just super chunky. There's like a lot of texture in here. So when you're eating it, it doesn't feel like you're eating mush. You're still getting the texture from everything. And then the rice, I feel like, is so fun. It just kind of feels like popped rice. But I love the idea that all I have to do is add hot water and it's ready to go. And then over here is the ReadyWise teriyaki rice. Now, I didn't realize until I opened this box that every single meal in this ReadyWise container does not have any meat in it. So a lot of the meals have all the vegetables and the grains and the pasta and stuff, and then they will have chicken flavor or like beef flavor, but no actual chunks of chicken or beef in them. And that was kind of like a bummer to me. If we were in an emergency situation where all we have to survive are these meals, I'm going to be missing a lot of that texture that we would normally get with like a fresh meal. That's the same thing with this meal. There are rice in here, there are carrots, and then there are bell peppers in here. But as you guys can see, carrot pieces are tiny, the bell pepper pieces are tiny, and then it's just really powdery with like the sauce. and then it's just the rice. And even the rice itself doesn't seem like it's like that high quality of a rice as compared to the brown rice I have here. So that was kind of one thing I noticed as soon as I opened these packages. I had not opened a commercial freeze-dried meal before, and so being able to see it compared to all the meals I made and freeze-dried myself was kind of like eye-opening, because in an emergency situation I would much rather have something that has a lot more texture. But anyway, that's kind of just what I noticed so far. Now I guess the more important thing is the taste. All right, so I have my kettle with some boiled water. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some plastic wrap over these and then let them kind of sit for about 10 minutes or so, just to give them time to soak up some of that water. So it's been about 15 minutes. I did go back and add some more water to the rices because I felt like they were still pretty hard. And then I think my zuppa Toscana is doing really well. One thing I did notice is because I have all these in bowls, once you add the boiling hot water, it doesn't really maintain the temperature in it. So in the future, if I were to do this again, I would either keep it in the Mylar bags or maybe reheat it in a pot and have it on like low heat or something like that, or in like a thermos where it's like insulated. So I'm gonna start with the ReadyWise Teriyaki Rice. Okay. The rice did reconstitute pretty well. I would say it's still just a very tad bit on the firm side, almost kind of like al dente, and it's a little bit on the bland side for me. I feel like the flavor balance is not there. This to me just tastes sweet with a very hint of saltiness, and then it just kind of has like this glaze over it. So it's not really doing it for me. Like if I have to eat that, I will, but there's not even like a very distinct teriyaki flavor. I don't know, there's just something missing there for me. My rice, I can't really say is much better because it's still kind of hard. It still needs to absorb more water, and it's kind of soupy. Let's just give it a try. Okay. Other than having too much water, it actually tastes pretty good. It tastes just like fresh rice. It has that aroma of the fresh rice. Okay, so let's move on to the curry, because although this looks delicious, although the chicken, you know, is very flaky and it's like, you know, it just looks like chicken, it looks like curry. I think what happened was that I did not leave this in the freeze dryer for long enough. The outside was dry, but I think the middle wasn't dried when I took it out of the freeze dryer and I put it into the bag. And because of that, I think it might have gone bad. What this has taught me is it's really important to get a moisture meter for the freeze dryer, and then also maybe even like a moisture absorber to throw in with the oxygen absorber as well. So that way, you know, you can make sure that all of the water and everything is out of the food, because the water is what is going to make it go bad. Future Quynh here. I was really disappointed about that chicken tikka masala. So I went ahead and grabbed the other pouch of chicken tikka masala that I had, and I was gonna throw it away. And before I did, I just thought, okay, I'm gonna open this up to see if it's bad also. This one doesn't smell funky like the other one did, so I'm kind of hopeful. I'm going to try to reconstitute this and see if I can redeem myself with my chicken tikka masala. So this time I'm going to grab like a thermal or thermos or insulated container, and I'm going to put this in the container, and then I'm gonna grab my boiling water that I just boiled. Here's what the inside of it looks like. I'm gonna add this to the container and then give it a quick stir. All right, now I'm going to add the top on so that we can trap all of that heat in there and let it steam. This one I feel like it's gonna be a little bit better than how I had it in just the regular bowls with the plastic wrap over it, because this one's really going to trap that steam, the heat, and the moisture, and hopefully that will turn out better than what I had before. All right, the moment of truth here. It's been sitting in here for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna open this up. It smells like curry, it smells like chicken tikka masala, and it looks like it too. And this insulated thermos, or whatever it's called, I think is the way to go, because as you guys can see, it's still steaming. Whereas when I was just pouring it into the bowls, it literally lost its heat within like a couple of minutes. But anyway, let's give this a try and see if it's still good. The texture of the chicken is like exactly like it was when it was fresh, which I'm actually really surprised by, because I feel like chicken is one of those proteins that can get really tough really easily. And that's not the case with this at all. It's really tender. It's got so much flavor. I am very surprised with how amazing this tastes. It tastes really fresh. I am so glad that this batch did not get ruined. This tastes like it was just refrigerated and then heated up. Moving on to the zuppa Toscana. This one, no smell. It smells exactly like it did when I made it. The texture looks the same. Even the potatoes have maintained their shape. I'm gonna give this a try. I feel comfortable with this one. Cheers. That tastes exactly like when I first made it. I can taste the Italian sausage. It still got the same texture that it had when it was fresh. The kale has the same texture and flavor. Everything tastes really good. This is phenomenal. I can't believe this was freeze-dried. It's been stored, you know, at room temperature for at least 2 weeks, and it still just tastes like it did before. Anyway, that is pretty much it for this video. I kind of just wanted to share this with you guys. I was kind of nervous because I didn't know if I was going to like it or not. After spending so much money on a machine, it would have been really silly if I totally hated how these freeze-dried meals turned out, but they turned out really great. And you know, they taste so much better than this. If I were in a situation where I was stuck with like a freeze-dried meal, I would much rather have these two than this any day. So I'm very glad that I have those options to be able to save my own food and then take it with me if I end up going backpacking, if I end up going on a road trip, and all I would need is like boiling water to reconstitute it and be able to have like a good meal. Anyway guys, that is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun doing this and trying out these meals. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Have you tried freeze-dried meals? And if you have, what was the occasion? What are your thoughts on it? Would love to know all that. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't done so already, be sure to click on that subscribe button right there and hit that bell notification so you can see more videos like this. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.